Abject City mean we'd do anything for to find a new manager. Hello and welcome to the Big Bank Theory podcast. My name's John, I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
No one says 4-2 anymore, do they?
Depends what formation you're playing.
True. Yeah. Unfortunately, City missed out a 4, and so there was just 6 on the pitch, it seemed.
Oh, I've just got it. 4-2.
Thank you.
Right, yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
It's kind of high-level content we're working at here.
Clever. Too clever for me.
Oh, hopefully the rest of you got it. Dan, what a disaster.
Yeah, that was shocking. Absolutely shocking.
I missed it.
You weren't there.
I was working. I think I dodged a bullet.
Exeter City 2, Oxford United 4. So coming off the back of another 4-2 last week, Tuesday, away at Charlton. This one, another 4-2, home to Oxford, and a bit of a different vibe.
Charlton felt like we were in it the whole time, right?
Very much so, yeah.
This felt like we never were in it, not one moment.
No. And it's sort of 2 consolation goals, which was sort of scored after the,
After the
bolted.
Lord Mayor's show.
Yeah, ages after the Lord Mayor's show. The Lord Mayor's show's finished.
Yeah.
They've packed it all up.
Yeah.
They've loaded it into the transit.
Yeah.
All the, all the bits and bobs for the show.
Yeah.
The food stalls. It's all gone.
The Lord Mayor's now...
The Lord Mayor's first out the door. So he's in the private jet. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone back to wherever he lives.
Exeter.
Right, in the plane. Probably don't worry about the plane then if you're Exeter based.
Don't know, the way Alvington Road's going at the minute, you'd want to fly, I think.
That's true, yeah. The Lord Mayor insists on a
jet to Alvington.
on a jet because Bridges is an absolute nightmare. And, if I could have got a private jet directly from the big bank to anywhere, I would have done.
Yeah. It's a shame Exeter was 7,000 there again, or just under.
Yeah. Still getting those big crowds, but for how long if you're going to play like that?
So the search for a manager goes on.
Yeah. Still managerless. Kev Nicholson in charge again. I'll tell you this, I didn't realise about him.
Yeah.
Dinky, isn't he?
Is he?
He is tiny.
Little fella.
He must be 5'4" if he's an inch.
Are you sure that wasn't Matt Jay's baby you were looking at?
I mean, it'd be difficult to tell the two apart, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's,
Okay.
I was already thinking, I want to see him next to Blackman.
Yeah.
We're obsessed with height, aren't we, on this podcast?
We really are.
Just this year, I think. We've never really gone on before.
So City were 3-0 down at half-time.
Yep.
A bunch of comedy goals, basically. Well, particularly the first and second.
Yep.
First one was from a free kick.
Bit of news first. The starting 11.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Key, ill.
Yeah.
Bug. Can't play.
Yeah.
Turns out Sweeney also had the bug.
Yes.
But did play.
Yes.
But not for very long.
Yes.
So, yeah, it started off badly and got worse. So straight away, we never had control. We never looked at one of those games straight away where you think, it's taking a little while to settle here.
Yeah.
And then it never happened. And then Oxford. So we were getting closed down a bit. Collins caught in possession, or gives the ball, very, very, very cheaply. Then takes the guy out. Has to be a free kick. Has to be a yellow card.
Yeah.
And is. And then I was saying, I was stood with my brother and he's like, I can't believe he's giving that away there. And I was like, in a way it's better because, let's be honest, Oxford United aren't going to score a free kick.
Not from there.
Not from there.
No.
But
yet.
But then they did. So, because I was thinking, you have more chances of scoring from open play, so you can kind of see why you go, I'll take him down. It won't score a free kick. However, they will if Raheem Harper decides to hop over the ball.
That's some sort of cat flap, wasn't he?
It's like whatever you do in a wall, never do that. So you can jump and then you're risking the ball go underneath your legs.
Yeah.
but don't flick your heels up so the boss to make more space underneath, so the ball can go underneath. I mean, they couldn't have planned it better. If they watched a video and got like, this guy does this funny thing where he does a little cat flap leg, and if we put it in that hole, it'll go in, because that's exactly what happened. It was bizarre.
It was almost like Crazy Golf, wasn't it?
Yeah, so they're 1-0 up, and they deserve to be, and we're all over the place, and then it's not long before that becomes 2. This time Sweeney giving away a free kick, also getting booked. It looks a bit hard. At the time I thought, oh, he's won the ball there.
Yeah.
But he does go round the wrong side of him. Retrospect, seeing it back and kind of see, I think he does get the ball, but you can kind of see why it's given. Then he screams at the ref. He gets booked, which means he would miss the next game anyway, having now collected 5 league yellow cards. We did actually say he already had that, but I got that one wrong. He does have now.
Okay.
So he's injured now, but he was also ill.
Yeah.
So he then went off and sort of received a bit of treatment. I don't know if that was, like some Beecham's, or if he also had a bit of a knock.
Injected Beecham's into his eyeballs.
Yeah, just squirt a bit of Beecham's.
Oh, that would sting, wouldn't it?
Oh, there's maybe a little Beecham's suppository.
Aye.
You ever had a suppository?
No, I have not, no.
Do they do it with Do you don't stick a locket up there? Just shove a locket up your arse and hope for the best.
I think if you're hoping for the best, you're going to be wide of the mark after you're doing that.
I mean, it's all going in, isn't it?
Yeah, but imagine when it splits open. What's happening then?
Yeah, seepage.
I mean, this is taking a turn that I wasn't expecting. Anyway, Sweeney's off. Free kick. Blackman doesn't do enough.
It's not a direction. It's not a shot though, is it? That
No.
one. It comes back out. Anyway, they have a shot. Blackman saves it, but then someone taps it in.
Everyone puts their hand up.
Yeah, it looked. Everyone was saying, "Oh, that's miles offside," and it looked like it might have been.
Yep.
And then Nicholson again in his post-match said he'd seen it back, and it wasn't that. It was like a bit offside, but not as much as we maybe thought.
Even so, everyone looked like it was waiting for something to happen.
The finer details surrounding the goals really are kind of by the by at this point, because we're playing so badly that the goals were inevitable, however they came.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember what the third one was.
Long distance one.
Oh, was that the one?
Straight in, yeah.
I mean, so that's one where Nombe is caught in possession down on the right wing.
Which is rare for him, it's worth saying.
Yeah, and then chases back but can't. By this point, I think the young fella's on.
Well, he would be if Sweden's gone off. Yeah.
What's his name again? Ed James.
And
that's not really his fault, I suppose. But he backs off. The guy just runs right through and scores. 3-0 down at half time.
No coming back from that.
A bit stunned, really, a bit shocked. It's just nothing. We've got it all wrong, and on that, seen a few people sort of mentioning it in the aftermath of the game, about the way we set up with the three-pronged attack.
Oh yeah,
Stansfield, Nombe, Brown. That kind of thing, and obviously that's worked well on occasion. It worked really well against Forest Green, was it?
Yeah.
It worked really well against Barnsley.
Yeah. It almost worked against Charlton.
Yeah, although we did concede 4, however well we played.
Yes, that's
so
true.
You could say that maybe it didn't work. But,
No.
But in certain situations, like on Saturday, it didn't work. And what there's some people, more tactically astute than me, there's a couple of fellas on Twitter. One of them's David Gribble.
Oh yeah,
worth a follow. That we're missing that. What we had last season and earlier this season is 3 in the midfield. Now, obviously, a lot of that's down to injuries. Dieng's injured, obviously. Kyle Taylor's injured. Harry Kite was actually back for this match, but was playing in centre back.
Yeah.
So, and you're going to lose a bit of that midfield control. And if they decide to press your midfielders on the, and press you on the ball, you got less options.
Yeah.
To control it,
you've got
control
less
it in the middle there, exactly, and that's not worked, and it's a little worrying. Well, it isn't really, because I don't think Kevin Nicholson's probably not going to get the job, but whoever, you think you would be able to sort of think, Matt Taylor was quite good got good at realising, and we benefited from this a few times in the last season, where you set up a certain way, you realise straight away that the other team's doing something different, and you switch it.
Yeah.
Now we're so low on numbers that switching things around is almost impossible. Do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
But not completely impossible. And we could have done something there. We could have switched to a back four and put another person in the midfield straight away as soon as we realised that was what was going on, because it was obvious.
Yeah.
Even to someone with
Well,
very
at 2-0
little
down in the first half, the thing is don't make it any worse. Get to half time at 2-0.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
At 2-0 there's always a chance.
Yeah.
At 3-0 something mad's got to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
of course, this is injury based.
This is injury based, and it's stand-in manager based, isn't it?
Yeah. But regardless of the manager situation, you don't want to. Oxford at home, is a game that you do not want to lose.
They're out of form. Yeah,
they're out of form. We should be stronger than that at home, even with a depleted squad. Now the squad's going to be even more depleted.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Diabate's back for a few weeks. Josh Key presumably will be better by Saturday.
Yeah.
Sweeney's now suspended.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that defence look like? Ed James going to have to play again. Hopefully, we have got a Papa John's game this week. Give him the full 90 minutes. So at least he's played a couple of games, if he's going to have to play against Fleetwood at the weekend.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's diabolical. When you look at the Oxford numbers, we talked about it last week, didn't we? How few they'd scored. And then they go and add a very significant percentage to their goals scored in one game against us, in one half against us. So oh dear. And then second half.
Well, we won the second half, as they say.
Second half. We gave it away, and Blackman was a bit of fault again, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I can't remember the lead up to this, and
Well, Matey, I watched it back, and Matey's carrying it in midfield. He falls over, but he's got so much space that he's still able to kind of give it off to someone who either takes a shot or lays it off. Anyway, shot comes into Blackman, parries
the
it
initial
down.
save is okay, but he parries it and then he gets slotted at his near post, which maybe should do better.
It's kind of over his head, isn't it? It's kind of
yeah, but we're already 3-0 down at this point. I said, at 3-4 doesn't. Perhaps it does make a difference. At 3-0, you're still kind of in the game, but not really. Not playing like that, you're not.
No.
Anyway, we do get 2 goals back.
Yep.
A few subs are made. Matt J comes on and does, like he is. That is the sort of character you want in that situation. Absolutely. Like someone who's going to kind of really kind of give it a very energetic kind of boost, which he did, and try and carry the team and carry the ball. And I think that he's great for that. But and he did make a difference. And also Sonny Cox came on. Kegs Chauke came on, and to be honest, seemed to. I mean, his passing seemed to have more purpose than anybody else's the whole game.
Right, that's interesting.
I mean, not that he did a huge amount, but it just looked like he had more purpose in his play.
Okay.
And then Sonny Cox got a little consolation goal late on.
Yeah.
A very well taken goal. His first ever league goal for City. It's great that it's happened. It's a shame it's under those circumstances.
Yeah.
But it's good to have him off the mark, and it's good to. It's a really nice flick on from Brown that gets him in behind a couple of defenders, and he goes round the keeper and slots it from a not insignificant angle and with his left foot.
Yeah.
4-2 again, very strange. 2 4-2s.
So, I mean, there's an injury crisis / personnel crisis.
Yeah.
But it's only a crisis. Well, the crisis is exacerbated by the particular way that we play, right?
Yeah.
So if a new manager comes in and says, well, I'm not going to play with 3 centre-backs, actually that changes things fairly quickly, doesn't it?
Well, it changes a lot of things, because if we're not going to play that way, then and if everyone's fit, we've got too many of them.
Yes.
Because this is the issue at the moment. It's a bit of a freak occurrence, really. There's so many of them out that what can you do?
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably. What are we going to do? Buy more of them?
Well, we can't even. We're not in the window.
We can't anyway. And what are we going to do at the start of the season? We're going to buy another one, because you've already got quite a few. And I know you could say you think Grounds is getting on a bit. Stubbs is injured more than he's not.
Do you think?
What can you do? You're paying wages on these guys.
Do you think the Alfie Pond thing caught us out?
I think it probably did. Yeah. I think he was probably the kind of safety net.
And of course, he would have been cheaper wage-wise than someone like George Ray.
Yes. Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff, wouldn't he? So George Ray probably had to go to bring in whoever. Pond as a, I don't even know how old he is, 18, 19, but up coming through the academy, he's not going to be on major bucks, is he?
No.
And if we could have had him for another year.
Yeah, so there's that as well.
Probably
there's a big team coming in for one of your options, and you can't have unlimited kind of like options, can you?
No, and you can't think, we'll keep him because you might go and break his leg in a minute and never play again. And
yeah, so I don't know whether 3-2 at the back, but I think under the circumstances, maybe you try and
do something different.
But like I said, Kevin Nicholls is just there to kind of like try and keep the good. He's not tried anything different. He's just played the same formation that Matt Taylor did in his last few games, and he's probably just said, you know what to do. You know what to do. I do worry a bit. There's some talk afterwards that it was like that they weren't playing for the manager and all this kind of thing. I don't know whether he can. I mean, you can only ever speculate about that kind of thing. But in a way, do you think that like? There's a lot said about the team spirit and stuff like that last season, and that's how we do it. And so is our whole thing kind of just vibes?
I know what you mean.
Is that what we had? And now Matt Taylor's gone, that's been affected somehow.
I mean, it's not like Matt Taylor was, like, obviously as great a manager he was and as good a leader as he was. I don't think he was like, it's only fun if Matt Taylor's here.
I don't know about fun, no. But I think intense and he's charismatic. Do you mean? And
maybe
because we've had a little look in, but when we got promoted, at some of his the way he kind of talks to the players and stuff, and you can see how he'd be rousing, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And not just that, tactically astute. You can see why someone's nicked him. He's good, But
I think if Nicholson had been given the job and we were 4 months in, or even 2 months in, and that was the performance, you'd think, that's something up there. I think probably more than one of them was under the weather. And, this, I mean, they're not daft, these players, but particularly the ones we've brought in from other places where they've had a harder time. They knew, and we'll talk about this in a bit, that there were other managers there watching them who might come and be Exeter City manager.
Yeah. But the thing is, I mean, maybe just, I still think, I don't want to be too harsh on Nicholson. Some people are going like basically calling him for him to be killed immediately after that, and I don't think that should happen. But even with the injuries we have, even with the very limited people on the bench, there's options of how to readjust things there and to shore it up, even with the odd square peg in a round hole, which we've already got anyway. You could have done something about it, and he did nothing.
And he did. That's the thing, isn't it? So it's not the first time that formation's been caught out and looked out of its depth. And then, like you said, Taylor learned to change things. So from the outside looking in, my assumption is Nicholson didn't know what to change, didn't know how to do it, or felt he couldn't because of the personnel available.
Yeah, I suppose so. But like I said, even I know nothing, and I could think of a way to change that. I
mean, apart from anything else, like we said, 2-0 with 15 minutes to go, you just get to half-time. You just stick 9 men behind the ball if you have to, and tell Jay Stansfield to stand on the halfway line.
Yeah.
Like, just do that for a minute. Just, And when Sweeney goes off as well, so then we got I don't know, who became captain when Sweeney went off?
I was trying to work that out. I don't know. Matt J came on pretty soon after half-time, or...
Yeah, but so there was a bit of time.
I'm not even sure who took it on.
There's time in between second and third goal where, there's no Dieng. I know Giovanni and Nombe are there, but they're kind of otherworldly figures almost, aren't they? Like, they're not Sweeney, they're not Grounds, they're not Stubbs.
No.
A Hartridge is great, but...
It'd be him, I suppose.
Maybe him, but he's got no experience at that. He's very young /
Yeah, but he's always sort of telling people what to do, isn't he?
I know, but just maybe the whole combination, if Matt Taylor had been there, wouldn't have happened. If Sweeney had been there on good form, wouldn't have happened. Stubbs probably wouldn't have happened. Dieng probably wouldn't have happened.
Well, I do think it would have happened, because I don't think that system was working against their system. But I mean, they might have been like, we got to do something here. Someone would have stepped in and right, I see. Yeah, that's possible.
Maybe.
Yeah. So it's an absolute disaster all around. Horrible time.
Yes.
And now we've got... Well, hopefully there's something
brewing
around the corner, yeah.
Okay, well, more on that in a second. Welcome back to the Big Bang Theory podcast. You can get in touch with us via Twitter at Big Bang Pod, on email bigbangpod@gmail.com, and on Facebook as well. We'd love to hear from you. Exeter City now find themselves in 10th, 14 games played. Obviously not a disaster by any stretch.
How's that happened? We've just lost 2 games 4-2 back to back.
I don't know.
I was quite surprised when I saw that. I thought we'd been sunk a bit.
There's a few. Well, there's a
Everyone
couple.
else is shit as well, is that the?
There's
answer?
a couple of teams that have had worse starts. So Bristol Rovers have now caught us up.
Right.
So it's all kind of close, isn't it? Actually, the bottom 4 are some distance away, but then Cheltenham in 20th are only 4 points behind us.
Right. Yeah. So carry on like that for much longer.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be down there.
Yeah. If we keep losing 4-2, yeah.
And we've got
some tough games coming up.
Some tough games, but also some games with teams around us. So Fleetwood, Saturday, they're only 2 points behind us, etc.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big one, actually. That's quite important. That.
Yeah. Should we talk about that now then? Fleetwood Town? So that's this Saturday.
Or should we talk about the manager's situation?
Okay, well, we can do that first, shall we? So we think Taggy's done an interview.
Yeah, Julian Ten Targ.
Yeah. If he was on Twitter, surely he should change his name to that.
Did an interview.
Yeah.
And where he was just kind of like, I don't know, just keeping people in, like giving people something to.
They're trying to keep people informed, aren't they? Like,
there's not much you can say, is there?
No,
I mean,
they can't say, we're interviewing 5 and here's their names.
Yeah, I think you maybe could have said how many people.
You could.
Maybe how many people you'd interviewed.
Maybe a timeline, but we haven't got that, so whatever.
Well, one thing we do know from Tag's interview is it's not. We haven't interviewed Jose Mourinho.
Helpful.
So that's
good to know.
Definitely know that.
Would you take Jose? I'd take him. I got to be honest.
I don't know. It's quite negative. I like the quite negative football in it.
Stupidest thing I've ever said, but Anyway, so we have got some applicants. We're led to believe Nicholson's one of them. That's just conjecture, but I think he hasn't said no. David Artell was there on Saturday.
Is that a fact?
Several people have said they've seen him.
Right, it's not just people.
No. Like people said, I was sat really near to him, and someone else was like, I also saw him.
Oh, right, okay.
I mean, he's out of work. It's an obvious job to go for.
Yeah.
That's not a shock of the century, is it?
No, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I don't know if people are joking. Do you mean because they always, there's a lot of that going on in there.
I know what you mean. Oh, I saw Erling Haaland at Creeley. Yeah.
I saw Roy Hodgson in the Heritage Lounge. I saw, I don't know, who else is there? I saw Louis van Gaal in St Anne's Well
pretending to fall over,
having a pint of Hoegaarden.
Yeah. No, I think this is a fact.
Okay. What was he up to, Artell?
Watching the game, taking notes, thinking.
But I've been.
I'll play 4 at the back.
Right. Okay.
We've heard other rumours, haven't we? Assistant manager at Stoke is another rumour. You heard that one?
Is that Dean
Holden? Yeah, former Bolton player.
Right. Yeah, he was a manager of Bristol City, wasn't he?
Bristol City.
Yeah.
Short-lived.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the other names we've heard, it seems like Ardley is applied. These are all rumours, of course.
Who's Ardley applied?
The defence hardly applied themselves to the work at hand on Saturday. Yeah. So there we are. We'll wait and see. So we might, if it's Artell, obviously, and if the interviews are today or tomorrow, we'd know soon. If it's someone who's at a club, we might still be waiting in a week's time.
Yeah.
Which would be annoying. Obviously, we've got that money in the bank.
In a perfect world, you'd want to get them in today, wouldn't you? So they could or tomorrow, so they could have a look tomorrow night because there's a Papa John's game tomorrow night.
I mean, if anyone thinks they've, maybe Dan, they're interviewing tomorrow. With that being,
well, they've already done the interviews, haven't they?
I thought they were interviewing this week. There's a second lot of interviews.
There's a second round or second batch.
I don't know. There's been rumours of both things, hasn't there?
Julian, what's going on?
This would have been helpful to know, but there we are. Whatever. So if they interviewed last week and they've decided, then presumably we're waiting for something to be sorted out. That seems unlikely, given that Artell was there on Saturday. So they either are still interviewing or never did interview last week.
Right.
and he's still in with a shout. Yeah, because if he'd been given it, we'd be told. And same with Nicholson.
Yeah. Do you reckon he's sort of not been given it, but he's thinking, oh, I'll just show up anyway?
Might be second choice.
Maybe I'll really kind of, if I just hang around, maybe they'll change their mind, you know?
Maybe.
Like if someone's sort of been rejected by a lover, and then they still turn up at timepiece the next week.
Yeah.
To just be like, well, if they see me wearing this coat, then they might think again.
They might
about that, because I mean, have you seen this? You haven't seen this coat I'm talking about. If I wear the Tom Ford aftershave,
yeah,
then
they
surely
might knock blimmin' Joe on the head and
change
give me a
their
chance.
mind. You know, I know you said last week that you never wanted to see me again, but
you hated my very being.
Yeah, but I've just been to Basil's in Princess Hay and had a lovely haircut. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's what Artel's up to, or more likely they're still interviewing.
Yeah. I wonder if he's listening to this, Basil or Barry or whatever his name is. Do you remember that hairdressers?
I remember Basil's.
Used to be above Terry's Takeaway in the old Princess
Hay. Remember it. Yeah.
Believe,
Isn't it now on Sybil Street?
I believe the guy was called Barry. No, I don't think so. I'd be surprised if he's still alive.
Okay. Maybe just bought the name of Basil.
Can you buy the name Basil?
Don't know. Who's it trademarked something mad the other day? One of the football clubs.
Did they?
Yeah, I can't remember now. Anyway, it would be really good, wouldn't it? Yeah, you're right. If they could have a look at the Papa John's squad and be in training towards the end of the week.
Maybe that maybe even the potential candidates are, if you're suggesting David Arthur was at the game the other day and he's not anything to do with anything, or if he's definitely not been given it yet, then maybe the applicants might still be there thinking, oh, what I'd do here is I'd put Hartridge up front.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Bold move.
Yeah, but you might be thinking, you might be thinking outside the box.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Say that in your interview with Tag and whatnot on them lot.
I'd
do.
I mean, if you interview a football manager, presumably you ask them, like, what would you do with our current squad? Surely that's one of the main questions, yeah.
What do you think we would do in this situation? Yeah, do you have to do that sort of workshop-y kind of...
Yeah, you just saw him get thumped 4-2. What would you have done?
Practical interviews, yeah.
And they say, well, first of all, I do this. But if I was suddenly in charge at half-time, I do... You know, it'd be that kind of question, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Would you do other things like sort of trust-based exercise, like get them to fall back into your arms and stuff?
I think there's two...
Tag stands behind him, like with his arms out, and say, fall back, David.
Yeah.
Fall back into my arms.
Yeah.
And then you have to trust me.
Yeah.
You can trust me.
Yeah. This, of course, is a trust-owned club.
Of course, exactly. So trust is very important, you know, and so fall back into my big Julian Tag arms. And then if they do it, you think, right, here's a transfer budget.
Yeah.
Thanks for trusting me.
Maybe there's that. I think there's also this job. They workshop it out on the pitch, right? And someone playing the role of Jake Caprice trying to shoot.
Yeah, Nick Hawker.
Yeah, sure. Nick Hawker playing the role of Jake Caprice, got a bold cap on, hoofs the ball down onto the railway line.
Yeah.
And you're in the dugout and they time you with a stopwatch. How quick can you get a ball out of the bag? And what's your technique to get it to the person taking the throw in on the far side?
Well, that's the fourth official's job. This is taking place at the fourth official's interviews.
No, I'd like to see it.
I don't know if the manager's even allowed to do that.
Oh, come on, I still think it's important.
Okay, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, all sorts of things like that, you know.
How would you do it?
What?
How would you get the ball across to the far side as quickly as possible?
I think I'm fairly confident with I'd kick it.
You kick it?
I don't know if you're allowed to do that. I think you've got to
roll it.
One, I think you've got to give it to the fourth official, and two, then he's got to underarm roll it.
Well, that's what I always see him doing, and I think if you went overarm roll, getting there a lot quicker.
Not if you haven't got like a long throw on you.
Hui! Make that noise.
Yeah.
Send it henceforth.
Yeah. What do they call it? Yeeting.
Yeeting.
You'd yeet it across the pitch, would you?
Absolutely yeet it, son. So yeah, I think that would be part of it. I also think like they take you for a taste test down the kiosk and say, what would you change here?
Oh right, so yeah, but again, these aren't really the managers. Just not really.
I think it's important. Holistic view of the club.
With that, what's he doing? We've got, well, like I said, we're trust.
That's where we went wrong.
You know? Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Come on. I mean,
I
please.
would be asking what he's going to wear.
Oh yeah.
What sort of thing would you go for? And if he went like, just like whatever club tracksuit, I go,
I think Matt Taylor would have happily worn a club tracksuit, but he followed in Tisdale's steps, and it would have been too radical a change.
Yeah, he toned it down a bit from Tisdale. I mean, it's hard not to.
Well, Jacob Rees-Mogg coming in would have toned it down a bit from Tisdale.
Yeah, but he never went.
The Monopoly man.
Tisdale was Taylor was mostly smart trousers,
crisp white shirt,
tie,
yeah,
and then a lovely merino wool sweater or better. So I'd like to know that what you're planning on wearing on the touchline.
It'd be weird, wouldn't it, to see like Jurgen Klopp, for example, well known what he wears out and about, coming to an interview in like full suit.
Yeah,
that'd be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I wonder if he even would, because he's sort of got enough reputation.
I guess he's all right. I guess Klopp's not the problem. But if you're like a manager that's only ever worn
sportswear,
and then you got to smarten it up.
Personally, I don't think you need to be wearing the sportswear
for the game or for the interview.
In either.
Yeah. No. Got to do better than that. But you also don't want to be like trendy manager.
Well,
I don't mean Tisdale. That was different. What, I mean like if you're wearing like streetwear.
No. Does anyone do that?
Guardiola.
Guardiola, yeah.
And he gets away with it, doesn't he? Do whatever he wants.
Some stuff doesn't look great. But...
No, it doesn't look great, but I mean like no one...
Well, of course, when you're at that level, you can kind of do anything, can't you? Yeah, but...
Joey Barton, he's obviously freaked out and don't know what to do.
Well, I think he probably just someone who will just... He would, if he wasn't a manager, he would just be wearing a tracksuit,
Maybe.
I'm not having a go at him for being, a scouser.
No, but didn't he go for a phase of wearing like black polo necks?
Oh yeah, I think he did in his philosophy phase.
I'd like to see it. Maybe our next manager will have a black polo neck.
I'd love that. You can't go wrong really with a black polo neck. Look, it's an easy win.
I'd suggest Neil Warnock
it's an easy
or a black
win.
Polo neck.
Yeah, okay, you can go wrong. But,
anyway, come on. I mean, we need someone in. Like, we don't want to make the next manager's job really hard, do we? Apart from anything else.
No, it would be good to get someone in. Again, we don't want to rush it. Do you mean?
We don't want to rush it, of course.
And these things, I don't know what the process is. Presumably, there's more to it than just saying "fall back into my arms." So I don't know.
Yeah. If it's, for example, Neil Ardley got a club, has he already told his club he's gone for the interview? And if so, has Taggy already said what would it cost if we chose this guy? Because that's also going to be part of the decision, right? There's no point giving it to the person if you go back to their club and they're like, "It was £1 million, please."
No, yeah, presumably then you could start. You got to start negotiating, haven't you, straight away?
So in theory, once the job's been given, I know the Matt Taylor thing took a while, but obviously that's because we were stern in our.
We're playing hardball, but why? But why shouldn't other teams, Neil Ardley's club, play hardball?
But that still only took him. He'd gone by the Monday, hadn't he?
I can't remember.
Interviewed on the Thursday, gone by the Monday.
Right.
I mean, surely we need someone there, even if they're just there in name alone, by the Saturday.
I hope so. Yeah, I really hope so.
Because then it's chock-a-block.
So this Saturday we have got
Fleetwood Town.
Let's move on to that.
Yeah. So Fleetwood Town.
Fleetwood Town at home again.
Obviously. So you know their manager is now. Do you know this?
No.
Scott Brown, formerly of Celtic.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. Burly, livid Scotsman. Scott Brown. Yeah.
Are they doing? They're not doing particularly well, are they?
They picked up.
Have they?
So they're 2 points behind us, I think.
Okay. I mean, goes to. I mean, what can you? We can't really say anything about what you think's going to happen because I said I wouldn't have thought we'd lost 4-2 at home to Oxford. So
no,
I don't know.
I mean, I'd take a 0-0 at this rate. I'd rather we win, obviously, but I'd rather we put in a display of defensive solidity.
Maybe, yeah. So they lost at the weekend at home to Shrewsbury.
They did. I mean, they're a squad they're a team that struggles. As in, like, they don't struggle. They've been in League One a long time now, but they're never going to be flying up the league, are they? Joey Barton, I think, did his best with them before whatever he did to that Barnsley manager.
Okay.
Scott Brown. I'd be interested to see him. He wouldn't want to play against him, but it's quite the name, isn't it, to have on the sideline?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And then Tuesday, Dan, is Derby County.
It is.
So the new
Derby County away. We're going to that one, aren't we?
We are.
Let's
Pride
just hope we
Park.
won't get to many away games, but we are going to be at that one.
I think with about 1,000 other Grecians.
Yeah, that's going to be good. Can't wait for that.
And presumably Derby will be, maybe not a sellout crowd, but
I don't know.
they have a big old crowd, don't they, Tuesday nights?
Do they?
Mm.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Could be 20,000.
Brilliant. But we got, Fleetwood in the way.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because then they're like, I know it's Papa John's this Tuesday, but after this Saturday, this is the last week gap for a while, because then it's Argyle on the following Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, it's just kind of, you've got all these big games coming thick and fast.
Yeah.
Nothing we can do about it, but...
So hopefully, you'd like to think by Derby we'll have somebody.
I think we have to have a manager in the dugout by Derby.
Yeah.
Because then that's 3 weeks after Taylor left.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's assume that's going to happen, But so this weekend is important because we're not expecting to beat Derby away, are we? If we do, great. I'm not saying it won't happen, but we're not expecting to. We're expecting to lose.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I would take a draw at this point, given the injuries. So it's looking like, let's say, like I said earlier, Josh Keeb, I guess, will be back, but he's not even really one of the centre-backs.
No.
So Sweeney's definitely out. We know we got Hartridge unless anything happens to him.
Diabate apparently still 2 weeks away.
Yeah, and does that mean that Ed James plays again? Maybe he does.
Maybe it does. No talk of Stubbs at all, is there?
No mention of Stubbs.
Derby beat Accrington 3-0 at the weekend, although they did lose the game before that to someone else. But yes, they beat Accrington. I mean...
Who are they playing this Saturday?
That's a good question. When you look at let's just talk about the Derby team. Because flipping heck, Curtis Davis is still playing at centre-back for them. And now I know he's not young anymore.
Oh, yeah.
They got James Chester. They got Sibley in midfield. It's quite the...
Was he the lad who's at Forest Green?
Sibley, yeah, he was, yeah.
Right.
Who are they playing this week?
It's not like Mark Poom and that, is it? It's not Darius Vassell.
No. I know. They got Ipswich.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's a Friday night, in fact. So they'll have an extra game, an extra day to recover.
Yes.
Sky seem to be suddenly all interested in League One. I don't know why that is.
Well, maybe they always were. We didn't know anything about League One before this year, did we?
Very valid point, Dan. So Derby following. It'd be pretty dismal if we don't have... If in a week's time, two more games, we've not picked up any more points. That's not a good look.
No. Heading into
even tougher.
Yeah.
Heading into Argyle.
Argyle and Ipswich ourselves, yeah. Oof.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying times. You've got to take the rough with the smooth.
Well, it was a really good start to the season, wasn't it?
We had a great season last year.
Yep.
We had a great start to this season.
Yeah.
It's all changed because Matt Taylor's gone. We had some bad results. We don't know which feels like we're at a bit of a kind of, not crossroads. Well, sort of, because it's a new manager, isn't it, coming in, and no one quite knows what's going to happen next. Well,
the fear is, isn't it?
You worry because we've got to stay in this division. That's literally got to be the brief for the new manager. Look, you got to stay in the division. You're not getting any money, all right? Yeah. This is the squad you got. It's tiny. Keep us in League One.
Yeah, we've got to be winning most games at home, and we've got to be picking up points away.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, by the next time we speak, we'll have some points on the board, and we'll have a new manager.
Yes, a new friend.
A new friend wearing a polo neck, wearing a bobble hat.
If it's some guy with a polo neck and a pocket full of dreams this time next week, I'll be a happy man.
Won't we all?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.